Good morning, y'all. Today we're going to read Matthew chapter 23. This is a warning against hypocrisy. And we might not get through all of it, but that's okay. Alright, chapter 23, verse 1. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, "The teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. They tie up heavy, cumbersome loads and put them on other people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. Everything they do is done for people to see. They make their phylacteries, don't know what that means, wide, and the tassels on their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and the most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and to be called rabbi by others. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth Father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah. The greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So this is really good because it's saying these people are doing all that they are for show. They want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be important, but they're not doing what they're doing in love and to serve others. It's so that others would serve them and call them rabbi and look up to them. But when Jesus came, the greatest human being to exist chose to be a servant, to serve us, to get down on his hands and knees and do the hard work, put in the hard work. He did so much for us, and he didn't look for people to lift him up. He already knew who he was. He knew who he is. He knew who he was, and he knew that his mission, his job here was to love others, heal others, and teach others, and show others love and compassion and kindness and mercy and grace and patience. And that's what we're called to be like, to be humble, not put ourselves on a pedestal, but to serve others. Okay, so this is the next part. It's called 7 Woes on the Teachers of the Law and the Pharisees. Verse 13. "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are. Woe to you, blind guides! You say, if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing, but anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by that oath. You blind fools! Which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold sacred? You also say, if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing, But anyone who swears by the gift on the altar is bound by that oath. You blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore anyone who swears by the altar swears by it and by everything on it. And anyone who swears by the temple swears by it and by the one who dwells in it. And anyone who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter, without neglecting the former. You blind guides, you strain out a gnat but swallow a camel. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside also will be clean. So that's a lot. This is saying, why are you looking to the things that don't matter? The gold on the temple, instead of the temple that holds the most holy high king. And looking to the gift on the altar, instead of the altar. The altar, which is the place where we're giving our gifts up to the Lord. The altar is sacred, and the temple is sacred. The temple is sacred for who lives within the temple. Where was it? Verse 20. Therefore, anyone who swears by the altar swears by it and everything on it. And if anyone swears by the temple, swears by it and the one who dwells in it. Verse 22. And anyone who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. Whew. And then talks about how the Pharisees are hypocrites and just neglecting justice, mercy, and faithfulness, and cleaning the outside of the cup, but the inside is dirty. The inside is full of greed and self-indulgence. So they're perfectly they're looking perfect. The outside is good, they're like, as long as I look good, as long as I'm called this, as long as, I put on my robe and I put on my tassel and I put on my, I don't know everything that it's called, and I go out there and I look good, I look like I'm righteous, I'm doing the right things, but what is my heart? Where is my heart? Who has my heart? Does money have my heart? Does pride have my heart? I don't know how to say this, but does, getting a reaction from the crowd have my heart? Or does God have my heart? Do the people have my heart? Am I putting myself underneath them? God's saying, you're perfecting the outside, but the inside is dirty, and you need to start with the inside. Then the outside will also be clean. It's so important. We're going to stop there for now, and we're going to pick up with verse 27 through 39. Hopefully tomorrow. I keep saying that, and then it's a couple days later, so we'll see. Alright, have a good day, y'all. Peace.